You're listening to Storage Nerds Podcast, where we unravel the best-kept secret of the real estate investing world, the storage industry. Join the grassroots guru in self-storage, Stacy Rossetti, in insightful discussions about finding, funding, and running these spaces, allowing you to yield the highest returns possible. Get your foot in the door on self-storage and discover how to properly purchase facilities, negotiate with sellers, and close the deal without worries. Start unpacking that investment wisdom with Stacy right now.
Hello. I hope everybody's having a great day. I had a very good day. I talked to students and got to do coaching calls all day long, and it was really nice. We have a lot of students that are doing some really good deals, running numbers. We took in a good handful of students over the last couple of weeks. So welcome to everybody. And I got to meet some of them today. And let's see what else. And then I had team meetings all morning. So I had a very good day so far. Looking forward to the week. And so tonight, what we're going to talk about is one of the deals. Remember, I've been doing like over the course of the last, I don't know how many weeks, 6 weeks or 8 weeks, I've been doing all of my deals, and I have 12 storage facilities. Oh yeah, I forgot to say I got 2 storage facilities under contract today. So congratulations to us. All right, so we're working on numbers 13 and 14. These are great deals. I'm going to go over those deals in the pitch tonight. So if you want to hear about the fund, these 2 deals are going into the fund. So if you want to hear about those deals and you're interested in putting money into the fund, then just go to stacyrossetti.com/fund, F-U-N-D, and then you can register and you can hop on that pitch. And it's a 506c Reg D fund. And so I'm trying to raise money for this fund now that I need $2 million. So let me know if you're interested and give me some money. These are great deals. The IRR is 24% on these deals. Okay. So I only put like totally amazing, awesome deals into the fund. So I'm looking forward to presenting those tonight if anybody's interested. Okay, now what we're going to do tonight, and what I've been doing, is going over all 12 of the deals that we own. And we're going to go over one of the, this is like the perfect deal to go over today, because we spent this past weekend, what I did, that's why I'm kind of like a little hoarse and stuff. And actually over the last 2 weeks, I spoke to like 100 people. I take 20 new students 2 times a year. I open the doors only 3 times a year. So we opened the doors over the last 2 weeks. I talked to about 100, like maybe 80 to 100 people, something like this. And we take 20 students. And then I help those 20 students to get their first facility under contract and purchase in the next 6 months. So I'm like a little hoarse there because of that. And then on top of that, I drove all the way to Arkansas and spent the whole day Saturday with like, a whole bunch of students and got to hang out. And then I drove all the way back on Sunday. So like 12 hours there, 12 hours back. And but it was like it was an amazing weekend. Anybody here that was there? Any of the new students there? And it was awesome. It was a fun time. I love doing the infield training days, because not only do I get to meet everybody and kind of get to know everybody, but we get to like drive around and like look at storage facilities. And my team, who's on my team, she spent like the last month like really scouring all of like the Arkansas area and finding like the 10 perfect storage facilities for us to go to and find. And she did like an amazing job. We went to like a lot of really good storage facilities. And one of our storage facilities, we actually got to do a tour and walk through and check. It was a conversion, so that the owner had taken it and then converted it, and he let us walk around, check it out and stuff. So it was really cool. And then also we have like a surprise, which is actually the theme of tonight and what we're going to be talking about tonight. But one of our students, Rob, who is like just gung-ho into getting into storage. I don't know if he's here or not. Let me see. but he's like already out driving for storage, talking to owners. He already like just joined. He's got 2 offers he wants to put in. And so he found an abandoned storage facility. He found an abandoned storage facility. And actually, the theme of tonight is how can you find abandoned storage facilities? And, then what do you have to do once you find an abandoned storage facility? Okay. And actually, the facility that I'm going to go over, which is our ball ground facility, it was an abandoned storage facility, right? So the truth is that there are such things as abandoned storage facilities out there, and the only thing that you have to do is get out there and look and find one. And then Rob, I had a call with him today. He said that on the way home, because he also drove from Florida to Arkansas, and he drove for storage while he drove back. And he said on the way home, he found an abandoned storage facility. It was 50 units. And he said he just happened to get gas, and he was pumping his gas, and he looked over and he was like, there's like some random like a metal building that was like behind all these bushes and stuff. So he said he drove over and he drove over to take a look at it, and it was a storage facility, and it was completely abandoned, and it was just like all overgrown, and you couldn't tell. You wouldn't be able to tell at all if it was that, it was there unless you actually looked, So when you're out driving for storage, I always say driving for storage is the best way to find deals, right? Because you get to do what's called market research, right? Driving for storage equals market research. I say this over and over again. And, and then you get to get out and see kind of what's out there and stuff. And the truth is just like there's, residential properties that have abandoned or been vacated, commercial properties are vacated and abandoned. There's also storage facilities, but you have to get out there and you have to look. All right. So that's he found 2 abandoned storage facilities in the weekend just by driving around and looking for storage. So yeah, so the theme of today is abandoned storage facilities, and how we took this abandoned storage facility that we found and how we like got it up and running and stuff like that. Okay, so we're going to do that today. And now remember, just a quick reminder that every Monday night, the topic is completely different. All right. I teach literally something every single week. So you want to make sure you come to every single session so that you can hear. All right. And then also, if you're like, obviously the Storage Nerds coaching program is closed now until 2023. So nobody can get in, but you can get on the wait list. If you want to get on the wait list for when it opens up in 2023, make sure that you go to, the storagenerds.com website. And then once you click on that button, then it'll take you right to the wait list so you can join. Or Ariel may put the link in here because I don't know what the link is. But and then also, if now that it's in between, like when the doors open, if you really want to get started, then definitely you should be checking out my course, which is called Super Simple Self-Storage. Okay. And I wanted to just announce to everybody before we get started that we just uploaded the new deal analyzer to the course. Okay, so we have versions 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? One for each year that we've been doing this, right? We had one deal analyzer. Like when we first started, we had like this very basic deal analyzer. We could just like run numbers really quick. And then we added more stuff on in the second year. And then we added more stuff on the third year. And now we just released the 4th version. Now, the 4th version is only for my students. They are the only, my virtual assistants and my students are the only ones that get that. So version 4 is available in Coach Accountable for all of my students if you're a student there. And there's also a video going over that deal analyzer. And I'll show everybody that deal analyzer here, but only my students get access to it. But in the course, you have version 3. You have the version, which is the one that everybody used up until I just released this new one. So it's totally doable, totally works. Great. Okay. People buy storage facilities from it all the time. And in fact, we have a student he just took the deal analyzer to a bank and said, look, this is the deal. These are the numbers. And the bank lent him the money based on the deal analyzer. Okay. So the deal analyzer works, and I wanted to show you real fast where you can get it. So you want to go right here to login in Stacy Rossetti, and then it'll give you access to this course. So here, storage, the Super Simple Self Storage link is here to buy it. All right. Hi, everybody. And oh yeah, and then actually I wanted to point out that on this page, if you go to this page right here, it comes up as 1997. All right. But Ariel Lynn is going to put a link in the chat to give you, anybody that shows up live gets access to the $1,000 off. Okay. So just so you know, so you can pay $2,000 if you want to, right? Or you can come to the live webinar and you get $1,000 off. So I think she'll post that into the chat for y'all. But once you sign up for this course, then you'll be able to log in and go to the login page. And inside there is inside here is where you'll log in. And I don't know what my login is, unfortunately, so I can't figure out, like, I can't show y'all. I tried all my logins, but it's not working. Inside here is where you'll get access to the course. And then inside there is basically like a whole bunch of different modules that take you through, like, it's like 100 videos that takes you through start to finish, like learning how to invest. But there's a module in there that's the deal analyzer, and it goes over the new deal analyzer, and then you can click on that and the deal analyzer's there, so you can just download it. Okay. Oh wait, here it is. Oh yeah, no, I tried that one. It's not working, Ariel. It's just trying to give me, I tried that, but it's not working. So anyway, so I just wanted to let y'all know that the new deal analyzer, or the deal analyzer for the course, has been updated, and you guys can get it. And even any students that are there that already have the course, y'all should be able to download that and use that new deal analyzer. Okay. All right. And then yeah, so I wanted to show you this picture as well. I thought this was really cool. Let me see if I could find it actually real fast. All right. So this is this weekend in the infill training day. And this is the abandoned storage facility that we found. This is totally abandoned. And so you can see how high it is. Like, it has been this abandoned for like years and years and years. We can see if I can get some better pictures. And yeah, so this is us walking and checking it out. And here's some more pictures. See how old it is, like old doors, and like here's the trees growing up on the side and stuff like this. Let me see. Yeah, this is what it looks like. Yeah, so the doors are kind of rusted. So it's been sitting. It's actually not the doors are kind of like dirty and rusted, but I think, a little and you can tell it's kind of older because the doors are like this. Like, typically new facilities don't have this in them, but these kind of doors, it's typically roll-up doors. But this is the neighbor right next door. That's Rob. And let me see. And so this is the neighbor right next door. And so he like, there's like this a band. Oh, sorry, I didn't push stop video. Hang on. And so we, like, basically what happened was we drove up to this thing, and I was like, what the heck? And this thing is huge, like 200 doors. Could you imagine like abandoning a 200 door storage facility? Like, that thing is worth like probably $2 million if you had it like cleaned up, fixed up, and leased up, and like producing income and stuff. That's worth like a lot of money. He's like letting it just sit there abandoned. And so we walked over to the neighbor that was right next door, and he has like this nice house, lawn is all kept up and stuff. And Rob was like, I'm gonna walk over to the door and knock on the door. So I took like a picture of him knocking on the door, and the owner came out, and he was like, hey, I'm Rob, and like, we're out looking for storage facilities to buy it today, and like we came across this one, and we're just wondering like what the story is, and like, do you know the owner? We want to try to buy it. And he was like, please buy it, please. He's like, yes, I know the owner. He's like, come on inside. So we all went into his house. He invited us in, and then he like looked up the phone number for us, and he told us the story of the owner, and he gave us the phone number of the owner. And Rob had already found it, and I was like, oh yeah, I already have that phone number. And I just said, he's like, you have to just keep calling and just try, because he like never answers his phone and stuff. And so yeah, so we found this like 200 door storage facility that's completely abandoned, and the owner's just letting it go to poop. And I think he's leaving a lot of money at the table. And the guy that lived right next door, he said that over the years it's been bush hogged 3 times. So he's like, please, just I want somebody to clean this up, because it's like, right next to his house, and it's making his house look really bad. I mean, it looks really bad. And we'll post a video on YouTube once, and out on Facebook and stuff like this too. So y'all, I like a good video as well. And so anyways, the point is that now we have to like work on trying to get a hold of the owner, right? And like staying, and like getting him to answer the phone and getting the information, because he said over the years he's had like, I think in like three or 4 years, he's had like 3 people knock on the door and ask him about the storage facility. And he's given the phone number to all 3 of the people, because he wants them to get that place to get cleaned up, right? And he said the owner like never answers his phone, and he gave us the backstory of it and stuff. So so the truth is that there are abandoned storage facilities out there, and finding them is the hard part, because it was like, even when you look online, it's like all overgrown and stuff, so it's hard to find that. Now the one that I picked up in Ball Ground, it's like you just drive by, it's like a storage facility, and it's just like looks like every other storage facility. So I didn't know it was abandoned when I saw it. So like when I drove up to Ball Ground, and I'm going to show you a picture. Let me try to find a picture of Ball Ground real fast. Actually, I forgot to do that. I have almost everything already, but not Ball Ground pictures. Let me see if we can find it. Yeah, hang on. Okay, yeah. So let me see if I can find some old pictures of it. I got some new ones. Let's see. Let me share my screen with y'all so y'all can see this. Now we fixed it up and cleaned it like pretty good. So let me see. Yeah, so here's this. See, this is the new pictures of it. Okay, so I don't have any pictures of it like old, but you can see we painted it and then like cleaned it up, made it look really nice. And these balliards are telephone poles, right? So we had like our boots on the ground person. I'll tell you the story about him. But our boots on the ground person, like he was like, oh, I know where to get like the perfect ballard. And we were like, what? He's like, I can get you some telephone pole. I'll get you a telephone pole. So he literally got a telephone pole, and he chopped these up for us, and he put these ballards in. And I'm going to tell you, because we were having a huge problem with because it's kind of a little bit tight in here. So right here, this one and this one was getting all banged up. You can see a little bit right here banged up. I'm not sure. Yeah, see how it's a little bit banged up. And so you look how big these things are, like massive, and so like now nobody ever hits the edges of our things. And I saw in the way we got this idea is because I almost bought another storage facility where he was using railroad ties. And he was like, oh yeah, no, I dug holes and put those things in. I poured the concrete. He's like, nobody hits the edges of things. And I was like, that's the smartest thing ever. Because, when they sell ballards, they sell like these little tiny ones. Then people, they hit them and they always get bent and stuff. And then your thing gets bent, and it's just this whole big thing, right? So especially when you have these kind of like tight spaces. And so because some storage facilities, like now I think it's like 20 feet apart, like when you build them, but like back in the day it used to be like 15 feet, maybe at the most. And this is kind of a tight space here. It's enough for one, a truck to go in and out, but then you can't see it. When you get down here on this end, way down here, and like swinging around, it's a little tight in there, so like also on the other corners, you get banged up and stuff. So I'm like now that we got these looking in here, so it's doing pretty well. And so let me see if I can find Miss Lillian self-storage. I'm not sure if we have the new pictures on Miss Lillian's or we have the old pictures, so let me see. Yeah, here's the old pictures. See, this is how it is. We don't even have the new pictures in yet. And so, yeah, so you can see what it looks like. It looks pretty beat up here. And it look like this. Let me see if I can pull these up. Oh yeah, that looks bigger. Okay, so yeah, you can see kind of this is how it is. So basically what happened with this storage facility is it's right off of a major road, not like a major highway, but like a major like county road or whatever. And you could totally see this storage facility from the highway. Let me see if I can pull this up. Ball around Miss Lillian's. Yeah, so here it is. Okay, yeah, so let me pull this up. And yeah, so you could see like here's 575, but we're right off of the 372, which is like a big, like a very busy county road or whatever these are called. Okay. And so yeah, here's our facility. Let me see. Let's do satellite view. And yeah, so you can see here here it is. Yeah, so you can see here's the road, and then this is it. And I was driving down this road. All right. And we just happened to live in this area and we just moved to this area. And so I was just driving down this area. I was like, storage facility right there. I was like, what is the storage facility? So I just came up and drove up. Okay. So now, as you can see, I'm driving up and I drive up to and I see this, not this though, but I see like this open fence right here. And then the gate is over here. And right here. Let's look and see if we get some better pictures. Yeah, so here it is. Okay. Oh yeah, maybe there's a good, nice picture here now. But yeah, you see, so we came in here. I came in here and I drove up to the facility. And like there was no sign at all. And when you drive up to a facility and there's like no sign, like you should really your heart should start like pitter pattering. Okay. And I was just like, oh yeah, this could be a good one. And so then all I knew was just the address, right? That's it. And I went on to Landglide and I searched Landglide to see like who the owner was. And the owner came up, but it didn't give I just gave his name and his he had like a PO box or whatever. So I was like, okay, I need to skip trace this guy. And so I skip traced and I skip traced him by just I you could just Google skip trace, right? And then, a gazillion different services come up. So I just picked one of them and just skip traced his name. And I said, okay, where is this guy? Right. And so actually his number did not come up when I skip traced. His cousin's number came up. And so I called that phone number and I said, I'm looking for, the owner of the storage facility. It was in some company name, so I couldn't tell, who it was or whatever. And I said, I'm looking for the owner of the storage facility in Ball Ground. And I was wondering, are you the owner? And he's like, oh, no, I'm not the owner. That's my cousin Greg. I think it was Greg, if I remember his name. It starts with a G. But he was like, yeah, that's my cousin Greg. I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, I would love to get his information because I really want to buy that storage facility. He's like, oh yeah. He lives right around the corner. I was like, here's his phone number. And gave me his phone number. Right. And that's all I did was just drive up, looked on Landglide, got his information, skip traced it, and then just called the number I got, and then I got his phone number. Okay. And so then I called up the owner and he answered the phone. He was like, hello. And I was like, hey, oh my gosh, you're kind of hard to find. And he was like, who is this? I said, this is Stacy. I was like, I've been trying to find you. I was like, I want to buy your storage facility. And he said, he was quiet for just a second. And he said, when can you meet? And I said, I can meet whenever you want to meet, whenever you want to meet. He said, how about Saturday? And I said, okay, I'll be here Saturday. What time? And so that was really honestly how easy it was. That was literally how easy it was. And so we drove over. I drove around. I drove in and drove around, and I was like, "Yeah, this is good. This is a good side." And I counted how many doors. We learned about this in infill training day, right? I counted how many doors. I looked at the side. What size unit is this? If you look at this, anybody have a guess? What size unit? Right? Because what I was telling all my students is like, when you look at a storage space, you actually look at it, because most people just like look, but they don't look. You know what I'm saying? You can tell how big the storage facility is. Okay, the unit is. And so I basically just looked at this and then guesstimated what sizes he had by looking at this. Okay, how do you do that? 10 by 15. All right, one person guessed, that's it. Excuse me. Any other guesses? 10 by 10s, 10 by 20s. All right. Some people 10 by 20 is good. Thank you. Thank you to everybody for humoring me. But yeah, when you look at this facility, right? If it's like there's a door on this side and a door on this side, right? You're not quite 100% sure, but you can count, you can step it off. This is what we're doing in the infill training. They're like stepping it off, right? And it's really, this is 10 feet. I mean, sorry, this is 20 feet across, right? So now you know, like now you know this is 20 feet across. And then and then you drive around and there's doors on either side, right? So I really just guesstimated, and I said, this is probably a 10 by 10 and this is probably a 10 by 10. And you can have 10 by 10s that have like doors on either side. And we do like what Pete does on some of his facilities is, Pete is my husband for anybody who doesn't know. What he does is like, he'll do either 10 by 10s or he'll do one 10 by 20 that has two doors. And then he'll charge extra to have access to both doors, right? Is what he'll do for the 10 by 20. Okay, so you can have one door, or if you want to have both door access, then it's going to be an extra $5 or something like this, right? And it works. I'm telling you, it works, right? So that's a tip for everybody. But yeah, so I just drove around and I counted 76 doors, and then I just guesstimated that they were all 10 by 10s. Okay, and now if you have 76 10 by 10s, and obviously you know it's 7,600 square feet. Another thing that you could do is you could just go right onto Google Maps and try to calculate it yourself, right? You could just right click on this, and then you could just measure distance, and then you just basically make a square, oops, here, and then calculate it that way. Okay, this is 4,250 square feet, right? So that's, you know, it's kind of giving you an estimate, right? So 4,200 is about 8,400. So it would be, I mean, I guesstimated 7,600. This is guesstimating it's like, you know, 8,400, you know, and it really just depends on where you put your markers at and stuff. I may be a little bit too big, you know, see, you know, it may be like this or something. I may be a little bit too big. Yeah, see. So, you know what I'm saying? So something like this. But anyways, just so you know, just to give you an idea of how big it is. But essentially what I did was I just counted 76 doors and said, okay, they're probably all just 10 by 10s, or they could be other sizes, but I'm going to guess 10 by 10s. Okay. So 7,600 square feet. And so 76 10 by 10s. Okay. So then we have to meet the owner, right? So this is what I do when I meet the owners. And, you know, I always, if I'm the person that's meeting the owner, I'm bringing me, my husband, and Lillian with me, right? Because I want us to look like a family business, right? And if I can, I'll bring the lender as well, if that's going to be a private lender. Now, this one, I mean, I was gonna have it as a private lender. I did not know whether or not this thing was full or not. He just wanted to meet me and give me a story. And I didn't even ask him any questions on the phone. I was like, yeah, let's meet. Let's do it. If you want to meet, I'm in. I'll just, you know, so I didn't ask him any questions on the phone or anything. I just knew I was going to come meet him and get all the information I needed. So on Saturday, I take Pete and Lillian and my lender come, right? I called my lender up and I was like, hey, you know, I think we've got a good deal. You have to come out here. And he was like, yeah, I'll come out. And so actually he lived in Peachtree City, which is like an hour and a half drive, but he's like, no, I'll be there, because he's like all into it anyways. And so he came up, and then when we pulled into the storage facility, there was I thought the owner, but there was like one man and then two women there, right? And so I pulled in and we parked and we got out and we were like, hey, how you doing? How's it going? And they all introduced themselves to us. And it was the brother and the two sisters. Now, when you pull up to a storage facility and like all three of them are there, like, that something's about to go down, right? And so, they're wanting to sell. And so I told him, and I'd give him a little bit of information. I said, look, we own like X amount of storage facilities. I can't remember how many we owned at that time. But I was like, we own X amount of storage facilities and we want to pick up some more. And we just moved to this area. So we're like, this is the perfect facility for us. And he was like, yeah, let's meet. Let's do it. And so we talked to these people for like 2 hours, and he gave us the whole history of their lives. They've been in ball ground for like, forever, since they were kids. It's where they grew up, born right around the corner. And he also had land. He wanted some land. I got some land too. And like, and I said, great. And he told me it's 76 units. It's 7,600 square feet. They're all 10 by 10 units, and they're all full and nobody's paying. That's what he said. And he's like, and we gave up on this property like 3 years ago. And so we have like maybe one or two people that pay randomly and stuff. And we never, ever do auctions. We don't want to deal with it. Like, it is honestly just a waste of like time and energy for us. We've got other things that we're doing. And I was like, well, I'm the perfect person to buy this. Like, you have to give this to us. And I said, like, look, I get that, I get it. I get that it costs money for y'all to build this and stuff, but like, this is my proposal to y'all. So, and I like what I did mentally, I didn't even run the numbers or anything. I was just thinking like 76 doors. And we could probably, like, the market, like, I looked at, before I came, I looked at the market. And at that time, which was like 3 years ago, like 10 by 10s were going for $60. Okay, each. So I just basically, that's what I did, is I just multiplied 76 times 60. And I just knew that I was going to make $4,500 a month. All right. I just knew that. And then I knew that my lender was going to charge me like 8%. He charges me 8% interest. Okay. And so I knew that whatever the amount of money that I got, whatever I got the property for, I would pay 8% interest on. Okay. And then I would have that as the mortgage. And then the way that I typically do it when I borrow money is I'll just borrow like whatever amount of money that I need is 100%. And then I'll be the one that comes out of pocket for anything else. So this, obviously, we know that when you buy a facility like this, an abandoned facility, like every month you're going to have to come out of pocket. So you have to think about this, like, because first of all, there's no bank that's going to lend you money on this deal. There's no bank that's going to lend any money. So you have to have either your own cash or a private money lender. And you're going to know that it's going to cost you money to get this thing up and running. Okay. And so how much money are you willing to come out of pocket? Like, what is your risk level, or how much money can you afford? Or, you just have to mentally think about that. And so for me, like, we'll come out of pocket, I'll come out of pocket. If I know it's going to be a good deal on the back end, I'll come out of pocket. Right. But I wanted to make sure that we at least could afford to pay the mortgage. Right. So I was like, how much could I pay for the mortgage? $1,000, $1,500, $2,000? What do I want? I was like, yeah, I could probably come out maybe $1,000, maybe $1,500 a month would be fine out of pocket. And then I'll pay the mortgage, and then whatever it takes for us to get this facility stabilized, we'll pay that as well too. Right. So I just always want to make sure that I have enough money to pay the lender. Right. And then however long it takes us to come up with the money to get it stabilized, then, we know we have to come out of pocket for that. Okay. So In the end, like what I offered them was $150,000, right? And I said, look, and it was right before Thanksgiving. And I'm going to tell you, the last quarter of the year is the best quarter to get facilities under contract, because owners want to sell by the end of the year, and especially right before Thanksgiving. So this time right now is the best time to be talking to owners. Every year I put several facilities under contract right around now. I just put two under contract today, and we'll most likely put more under contract as well too. So, and we'll close those before the end of the year. So just be aware of that. So now we offered $150,000 for this facility, and I told the owner essentially my idea was, I want to pay $150,000. That's $50,000 for each of you. This is your Christmas present from me, is what it is, right? And that's what I said. I was like, it's a Christmas. Just think of it as your Christmas present from me. And so they, they all kind of looked at each other, and then like looked at me, and they said, okay, that's fine. Let's do $150,000. So, they were probably open to whatever amount of money, but like, it's a win-win situation for all of us. Like, so I'm not going to be greedy. I could have maybe got it cheaper, but the truth is like, I'm going to make a lot of money on this deal, and giving them some money is okay with me, and actually making the lender happy is okay with me too. So essentially we got this facility for $150,000. My lender actually gave us $160,000. So I asked my lender for 160. I said, can you give me 160 so I can have 10 grand to like get this thing up and running and stuff? He's like, yeah, that's fine. So I borrowed $160,000. I got the facility for 150. It's 45 when we got it up and running. And I'll kind of show you a little bit about that now. We're going to make like we were guesstimating 4,500. Now the price is at almost $80 to $100, depending on where we're at, how full we are and stuff. But it's typically each 10 by, we only sell 10 by 10 units. We don't make them into 20 by 10s or anything like that. It's just like, that's it. You got 10 by 10. If you want it, take it. The minimum is $80 up to $100, depending on how many units we have left, right? Because dynamic pricing is basically when at, let's say at 80% full, the price is $80, and at 90% full, the price is $90, and at 98% full or 96% full, when you only have one or two units, and you charge like a lot, right? And this is that's called dynamic pricing, and that's basically how our pricing is. Okay, and then sometimes if we don't have it full, right? So we just raised the rents. Like we literally went from like 60 to 80, and then and like some of them are even higher than that now. We just raised the rent. So we did have some people like leave or whatever. So we have a little bit of vacancy right now, but not too bad. I mean, we've been making $4,500 a month for the last. No, it took us. I'll show you the numbers. Actually, let me just show that to you, because I pulled those up so y'all could see that. What I was going to show y'all is this is actually Store Edge, and inside Store Edge they have the report section. It's right here on the left, right? And then they have like all these like finding. They have like occupancy reports, like ridiculous amount of reports, and they have financials, merchandise, insurance, management, all kinds of stuff. Okay. So I'm just getting the financial annual revenue and occupancy is what I clicked, and then you just generate the report. And this is the report that came up for Ball Ground, and this is up through like September. Okay, so as you can see, we closed on this in January of 2020, and we made no money. And then we started contacting people and saying, hey, like, you owe us some money, right? And then over the course, we started getting this thing filled up, as you can see, like started getting it leased up and making more and more money. So in the first year, we made $26,000, right? That's from $0 to $26,000 and just like working to get this thing filled up, right? And then in 2021, it kind of gets more and more 35, 38. So it took us a good, like to get to 40, 4,000 to 4,500. It took us a year, a little bit over a year and a half to get this thing leased up. Okay. And then we basically were at $60 a square foot, slowly raising the rents. And this is where you see June right here is where we raised the rents to $80. And then a lot of people stayed, and then all of a sudden it drops off. And people are like, what? I'm getting charged. What? I'm out of here. You know what I'm saying? $80 to $90. Or and I don't know. Actually, let's see if it's on. I'm not sure if it's on miscellaneous. We could check the website and see. So you could just go to misslillians.com, and then we could click on Georgia, and then click on mall ground. And yeah, and then what else? Let's see. Oh yeah, get pricing. So get pricing means, let's see, let's get pricing, 10 by 10s. Okay, oh, so we do have a couple. Oh yeah, see, this is what I was talking about. So we do have, he did change a couple into 10 by 20s then. Get pricing. See how it says front and back, and then right here is like just regular, like you don't have front and back doors. So he charges more for that is what he does. Okay, here it is now. Okay, so this is where we're at right now. 10 by 10 is $100. Okay, I didn't know we were this high. And a 10 by 20 is $220. Look how crazy our prices went up. And we were only calculating, so we were only calculating $60 when we bought the thing. Okay, so now we're like ridiculous prices here, and trying to get leased up. And let me see, where we were at. Yeah, here, right? So we started charging, and then people left, and now we're having to get it leased back up because people don't want to pay. Like now, I think the 10 by 10s are all full. We just have some 10 by 20s. I'm not 100% sure. We could look at the occupancy report, but as you can see, it's been September is 3,800. So September is 912. And it's very important when you think about dates in a month, right? Because like in the first week, like 80% pay and 20% don't pay, right? And so as you can see, I would say probably maybe 20% hasn't paid. And we're working on trying to get that paid, and then we're also trying to get leased up from all the people that left because we raised the rates from like $60 to $100. You know what I'm saying? So like, it's kind of a twofold. So you're always, it's like a dance. It's really like a dance when you're thinking about revenue. So we're at 37,000 right now, and I'm guessing we'll probably be, let's say 5,000 for each month. So we'll add another $15,000 here. So we'll be at like, what is that? 47, 50 to 55,000 by the end of the year is where we'll be for this facility. Okay. And inside in this facility also as well, you saw that we took it from this to like the pictures, which I don't remember where the pictures are anymore. Yeah, to this, and cleaned it up, made it look really nice. And our boots on the ground person did this. All right. So our boots on the ground person for this facility, his name's Eddie. And he was actually the one, he was like one of the ones in the very beginning of the like we bought this thing that we contacted everybody and told, because when we bought this thing, within like, I would say within 90 days, we did 36 auctions. Okay, so we had to go through that, and it takes a while to do those auction processes. It takes like, when you buy it first, if you think like it was full, it was like completely full of crap. So then we did the auction process, and that went through, like that takes it takes a while to do. I talked about this last time. It just takes a long time to do the auction process. And then what we had to do too is we had to clean out the units, auction them, and then like clean them out if nobody took the stuff or whatever, which typically nobody does. Like auction processes are just like are horrible. And so then you end up having to like clean the stuff out. And I think it took us probably like 5 dumpsters. It took a lot of dumpsters, and each dumpster is like $500. So it probably cost like $2,500. And you have to clean all that stuff out. And then once we would clean one unit out, it would immediately get like rented, right? And so that was the process that Pete did from like, and so what he did is he brought Eddie on. So Eddie was one of the guys that had a unit, and he did not want to lose his stuff. So Pete worked out a deal with him and said, hey, why don't you be the person that like takes care of this? This is the boots on the ground, and you can have your unit for free. Right. And so that's what he did. He would come in, he would mow and trim the things out, but he was really the one that like cleaned out all the units and put everything into the dumpster so that the dumpster could come take it away. And also another thing that Eddie did was that if he found anything in any of the units, Pete said, it's yours, you can have it. And he would sell that stuff on eBay and like out in Facebook Marketplace or whatever he did, I don't know. And he would get money for all that. So that's why he was like, oh yeah, because it was like a guy that kind of didn't have a lot of money and stuff or whatever. He couldn't afford unit. And so we worked this deal out, like, you clean it up, you can keep whatever you want, take it whatever you want, do whatever you want with it, but like we just need to get each unit out one at a time. And so on the weekends and stuff, Eddie would come and work and just do that for us. And this is how we do our management. Okay, this is how we do a lot of our management, because when I borrow my money, typically we're only borrowing like so much money, and I really don't like to borrow a lot of money, especially when you're paying like high interest rates and stuff. You don't want to borrow a lot of money because you have to pay, interest on that and stuff. So we're kind of the type of managers where like when you start making money is when you can really, you can fix stuff or whatever. So like, it's more like slow and steady wins the race. And so, but like as he cleaned out a unit, it immediately got leased up. And then after he cleaned out all the units, we paid Eddie to paint the storage facility for us. And we paid him. So that is something that he did. And then he did the balusters, he did that. And so now all he does is just come check on the place and like, mow the lawn and stuff is what he does now. Okay. So not really a lot of, cleans out the units if they're business, but essentially like that's how we got Eddie to do that. And he worked with us for like very closely for the 18 months that it took us to get this thing cleaned up and running. He really did a lot of stuff for us, and we would just pay him and like help him and stuff. Whenever he needed money, we'd just give it to him. All right. So that is the boots on the ground person. I have a couple of questions. How much did it cost for the renovations? It didn't cost that much money. We had borrowed the 10 grand, and I think it probably cost like maybe a couple grand to clean the place out. And then it didn't really cost us that much money to even get the thing painted. It probably cost us a couple grand to get it painted because Eddie did that for us. And it was just more time. Honestly, it was not a lot of money. It was just time, to get out there and work. The good thing is that we had just moved around the corner. So Pete was like 15 minutes away. So he would always be just hanging out at this thing, doing whatever. But I told Pete after that, I was like, you can't be hanging out at that place every day, but in the beginning, it was good for us to be there. So just like right now, we just closed on a facility. And it's like, like three weeks ago or so, we just closed on a facility, and we're right around the corner from that facility as well too. And we're just like, Pete's just going up there and doing his thing and taking care of whatever he needs to do, at the facility, get it up and running. Okay. And so that's kind of how we do it. We're like more hands-on. Okay, now new to this, what do you usually end up making from auction processes? Nothing at all. Okay. You don't make any money from auctions. All right. Just so you know, it costs you money because it costs you time, energy. It's a lot of work to even put the auction process through. And then they open the door and they don't want to pay anything, or maybe like $20. We'll take whatever they wanted to give us, because all we really want is for them to get out the stuff out. If they'll take everything out and clean it out, they can have it for free for us, for all we care. Okay. And how are interest rates now for storage facilities? Commercial real estate has not been affected as much as residential. Who knows what's going to happen over the next couple of months? We already know that it's supposed to go up like 2 or 3 times for this year. And so, but commercial rates are not as affected as residential rates, just so everybody knows. Typically, rates right now are anywhere from 5 to maybe 7%, but typically like 5.5. We run our numbers, at 5.5 and 6% is where we run our numbers at. Okay. And I think that's a very good, fair number for right now. Now, we'll keep an eye on it, obviously. Who knows what's going to happen, but because there's going to be a lot of pain is what Jerome is saying, right? But you know, commercial really rates don't get as affected as residential. And honestly, the truth is I pay 8 to 10%. I mean, I pay anywhere from 6 to 10% on all my storage facilities because I go to private lenders and you pay more money on it. Just as long as there's a big enough spread, there is nothing wrong with paying higher interest rates, right? Just as long as you know in the front end you're getting a good price for that product, that whatever that property, then interest rate, this should not matter what the interest rate is. If you're overpaying, like now, like what everybody's done in the last year, if you're overpaying and paying high interest rates, that's where you screw yourself. But if you're paying low and you have a high interest rate, it's okay because it kind of evens itself out. Okay, what else I was going to show you real fast? Okay, so let me X out of this. Oh yeah, I wanted to show y'all Sparefoot because the way that we got this thing rented up quickly is through Sparefoot. Okay, so I'm not going to get into deal analysis today. We've been doing deal analysis on facilities for the last like X amount of time. So you can always go back, watch those, especially students. Those are inside coach accountable. But on this one, I wanted to show y'all Sparefoot. So Sparefoot is, I don't know if anybody knows about this, but this is like it's owned by Storable. All right, so Storable is like a big, huge like company in the industry that like owns like a whole bunch of different, they're very vertically integrated and they own like and any aspect that you think of in the storage industry, they've got their hand in that, right? And they have all these different companies. So for instance, like Sparefoot is basically a company where you market your facility for tenants. That's what Sparefoot does. You pay them to market your facility. And it ain't cheap, right? You know, like everything else in the world. But in order to get, like, especially when you buy a facility that is not leased up, Sparefoot is probably the quickest way to get it leased up. Okay, now if you buy a facility that's an income producing property, like there is no reason, you know, for you to be on Sparefoot if you need 5 doors filled or 10 doors filled or something like that, right? But if you're like me, or if you're like, you know, you're buying a new facility that hasn't been leased up, or we have one facility under contract right now where the owner is like, it's not full. Like we're going to have to use Sparefoot for that, right? Because Sparefoot, what they do is they market you, they syndicate your company, your facility out to the world, like through like Google Ads and stuff. So for instance, if you type in, storage near me, Sparefoot, Google, do that and Google it, storage near me, Sparefoot will be, it's either selfstorage.com or storage near me. And both of those, what are those called? Domains are owned by Sparefoot. Okay. And so Sparefoot, you just go into Sparefoot and then you can really get to know your market. And so as you can see, I just typed in ball ground into search, right? Storage units near me. And I say most people do not come to Sparefoot to look up facilities. All right. If I was going to just go to like in Google and write and type ball ground near me, I'm sorry, storage near me, then it would come up. See, look, selfstorage.com, storage near Jasper, $19 a month. All right, this is a trick that they do. This is probably like a 5x5. Who knows what this is? It's probably some trick. All right, and also Jasper is right next to them. They have like so many storage facilities, I can imagine. But like Ball Ground is a good area. Not a lot of storage facilities. And I don't know what Connex West is. That's containers, maybe. Oh yeah, maybe that's. I'm not sure. And then you have Canton, Alaska self-storage comes up as an ad. So they're doing their own ads. Okay. And then you have like a couple other ones that are doing their own ads, right? Are coming up. But here's Sparefoot right here. So it is on the first page. So their job is to be on the first page, and selfstorage.com and Sparefoot are their 2 domains. Okay. So if you click on selfstorage.com, this is basically, and then you type in ball ground. This is what this is basically what Sparefoot does. Is they're going to, now what they do, what Sparefoot does is they bring up at the top of the page, whoever is at the highest of this is the one that has opted to pay the most money for each tenant they find. All right, so so as you can see, flex storage is at the top, and then right here you can see public storage is it's always gonna be all the REITs at the top. Like they're always like flex storage is up here, REITs are up here, prime storage, right? So all the little tiny people like me and y'all, like we ain't ever gonna be on the we ain't ever gonna be on the front page. All right, because like what they do is you bid on the space. You bid, you say, look, I'll pay 1 times or 2 times or 3 times or 4 times the amount of money that the rent is. Okay. And so this person, if I came in and I actually clicked on this and booked and actually like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do 85. That's good. This is a good one right here. And I clicked on this and I went in and like, you know, you typically they'll call you is what they'll do. You could book it online or they'll call you. But if it goes through Sparefoot, whatever they bid on, if they bid 3 or 4 months worth, they would have to pay that for this price. Okay. So that's why the more that you allow Sparefoot to take as a price, you know, to be paid on, then they get higher up on the list, if that makes sense, right? So Midgard, they're all opting in to pay, you know, 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 months. You could go up to like 12 months. It's like ridiculous. Yeah. Right. You know, but what this shows you is these companies, they know what their customer lifetime value is. Customer lifetime value is key in this industry. All right. And so my homework to you is to search Sparefoot and look at the, you know, market researcher area and see, you know, what everybody's charging and see who comes at the top. And then go all the way to the last couple of pages where, and then see like, you know, the last couple of pages that are there and see who comes up that is not paying, because it does show those as well too. Because like it'll say like, you know, it'll say like not include, like, you know, must call to get pricing. I'm not sure what page is the very last page. It'll go like you can see here, like is there 3 pages? Oh yeah, it's already on the, yeah, you see how these are? And then you have to call Sparefoot to get like the prices. And this means that they are not paying Sparefoot, but all that stuff is listed. But if you want Sparefoot to handle it, they'll call this facility and say, hey, you know, Stacy's really, we got a tenant really interested in your facility. Would you be interested in like getting this lead? But these are all good facilities for you to look at to see if they're small mom and pop facilities. So Sparefoot is a very good way to find mom and pop facilities in your area that you can contact and see if they want to sell. And then we use, personally for ball ground, we use Sparefoot to get them leased up. And we put $40 like to get it leased up, because we only want to pay like, you know, you have to pay minimum doubles. We want to pay $80. So we were like, okay, let's just get everybody leased in. This is our like strategy. Get everybody leased in. And then once they get leased in, we can slowly incrementally start like increasing rates. And like as soon as they get in, like a couple months later, it's like, oh, sorry, rates increased. Right. And then we'll see if they stay or not. And guess what? Pretty much everybody stays. Like nobody leaves unless you do like a huge big price increase. Like we took it from like $60 to $100. Right. And so then they leave. Now I got to hop off and go to my fund. All right. And do the fund pitch. But I just wanted to show you Sparefoot so that you use this as a tool, not only to find property and find owners, but also to use to to get tenants into your units. Okay, just know that it's expensive to do that. And then in all of my coaching students, I'm going to show y'all a special secret way to get even cheaper tenants. But for everybody else, Sparefoot is a great way. We use Sparefoot, and like now we just increased the rates. Like we almost doubled the rates on almost every single facility to get it to current price. You know, $40 and $30 or $40 rates, and everybody's like, oh crap, I'm getting out of here. And then they'll leave, you know, so 20% will leave. And then we use Sparefoot to get it leased up, and then we try to fill it up again, and then we'll just raise the rates again. Okay, so that's my tip for tonight. That's ball ground. There are abandoned facilities out there. All right, so get out there and start looking, get a hold of those owners and talk to them. I know because Rob found 2 in the last 3 days. So I know they're out there. All right. And for everybody else, all of your questions that you are asking and that I did not get time to go over, just post them into the private Facebook group. Okay, and we'll get to them through there. So make sure you search super simple self-storage, and then just post them there, and then I'll get to them there in the Facebook group. Okay. All right. I appreciate you guys hopping on, and I will see you all next week. All right. Take care.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Storage Nerds. Hope this informative conversation inspired you to go out there and jump into this highly profitable business venture that people rarely talk about. Get more tips on storage space investing at www.stacyrossetti.com. Don't forget to subscribe to the show and leave a rating. Together, let's build that thriving passive income one storage space at a time. Until next time.